Welcome, Dr. Chandan.
Good morning, and I thank the organizers and ISPCon 2026 Hyderabad committee to give me a chance to speak on this topic. Already few speakers has covered since morning. I think this topic has been in. Uh, I think in the evening, two jolly LLBs fight on this topic. One was in favor of balloon, one was in favor of RF. In fact, Manoj was coming here for the RF only. But fortunately, Manoj, I am here only. So I will speak first. Thank you. So I won't go much into the definition, causes, and other things. I will directly jump to the procedure. So let's come to the pre-op preparations. So very important if you are going for the balloon decompression therapy, counsel the patient. And I usually do in front of the relatives about all the aspects, whether it is pre-op, intra-op or post-op aspects. So I discuss each and everything in their language in front of their relatives, and I make sure that it is coming in the black and white. And if they are on any medication having comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, and especially if they are on antiplatelets, like in this patient which I am discussing right now, she was on clopidogrel since almost a year. Uh, she was a case of angioplasty done 1 year back, and she put on clopidogrel. So we stopped clopidogrel 7 to 10 days before in consultation with cardiologist, and we make sure she's fit. Physician fitness was given. We discuss everything about the protocols. We cover the hypertension, diabetes, and other comorbid control. We keep the patient NBM for 6 to 8 hours. We again review the MRI, and we make sure that OT is ready and about the side which is we are going to operate. Now, this is the procedure. So we usually do under general anesthesia. We intubate the patient, right? It is nothing like sedation or in the local anesthesia. We do all the cases under general anesthesia with proper intubation and everything. And still I give local so that it helps in the post-op period. So after giving local anesthesia, this is I am putting the 20 gauge needle. The set which I am using is the Indian set. I am not using the imported balloon set. Of course, monitoring part and everything is set by the anesthetist only. You can monitor the pulse right now, and I will show you the pulse during the intraoperative period. This is, I am going into the foramen oval in the submental view. And this is the tunnel view. Now, the second step is now putting the guide wire, removing the stellate. I am removing the stellate and putting the guide wire in the lateral view. I have just crossed the foramen, and this guide wire is already done. Now I am removing the guide wire. So now third part is removing the needle. But again, all under the fluoroscopy guidance, all under the lateral view. Make sure your guide wire should not go inside. Now this is stage 4. Now I am threading the dilator through the guide wire. Before that, it is difficult to pierce the dilator into the skin. So what is my practice is, take the 16 gauge needle, go up to the skin, create a hole, remove the needle, 16 gauge needle, and thread the dilator. So can you see I am threading the dilator so that I am ready for the 13 gauge cannula now. Now this is the needle, final needle, 13 gauge cannula needle. I am threading over the dilator and entering into the foramen oval, of course in the lateral view only. Slowly and slowly. Now once you come to the foramen oval, edge of the foramen oval, then you can remove the dilator. Before that, you need to lock the skin. There is a special lock system is there. You need to lock over the skin moment you reach into the foramen oval, so that your dilator should not go inside. Now, this is a very important step, checking the patency of Fogarty catheter and also the balloon. So, before putting into the needle, I am checking it outside over the trolley. So, I am inflating with, I am just checking whether it is inflated with 0.5 or 0.7 ml. So, patency is there. It is very well get inflated, no issues. Now, the next step is marking the balloon. So there are two white spots in the distal end. So make sure the proximal one should cross the bevel. Now, yes, this is the point. You can mark over the surgical marker pen and make sure you are marking all over, so that you should not get confused while putting the balloon. So the next step is putting the balloon. Yes, it's done. Can you see the marking? You can check in the fluoroscopy. Now, final step, I am inflating the balloon with the contrast and keeping it for the 90 seconds. Now, very important step. It should be a pear-shaped balloon. Why? I will discuss this right now. Hardly I have inflated with the 0.7 ml. And make sure you are remaining inflated for the 90 seconds. You can check the images in AP and the submental view. This is a classical pear-shaped balloon. Now, this is the one female patient which I am taken she was on antiplatelet and having V2 and V3 level. Now appreciate the balloon. I am not happy with the exact pear-shaped in this case. It's okay. But in this case, he was 65-year V1 trigeminal neuralgia. Now this is classical one. So these are the images in the submental view, also in the lateral view. Yes. Now the moment I said initially the heart rate was around 130 in the pre-op period. Moment we started the case. Now this is called TC reflex, trigeminocardiac reflex. The balloon is inflated. Now my heart rate goes around 60. This is trigeminocardiac reflex. Now the importance is this comes under complication, but at the same time one of the factor for successful outcome. So one is pear-shaped, other is trigeminal reflex. Now this is deflating the balloon. That should be done again in the lateral view. It's done. Now removing the cannula, the last step. You are expecting some bleed, so have a compression for at least 5 to 10 minutes. So this procedure is done. I will share in brief about the advantages over the MVD and RF. So let's come to the microvascular decompression. So compared to MVD, this is very minimal invasive procedure, ideal for high risk elderly patients, those who are not fit for MVD. There is no implantable hardware as such, we are not putting anything. Patient can be discharged within 24 hours. Patient not willing for MVD and recurrence after MVD. Now what are the advantages over radiofrequency ablation therapy? Very important, patient comfort. We do under general anesthesia. So there are a lot of old age patients, those who are not fit or cannot hear properly or cognitive dysfunctions. You cannot assess the steam and motor stimulation. So this is a good part if you are doing under general anesthesia. So it's a luxury for them. And it is safe for V1 trigeminal neuralgia. Then there is a lower risk of anesthesia dolorosa. Technically verification in V1, it's a subjective verification, or in the RF, whether you are getting stimulus, motor, that is a subjective verification. But in balloon, pear-shaped, yes, it's a technical difficulties there, but definitely advantage is over the RF. Then if more than one dermatome is involved, balloon is a choice. And then again for post-herpetic neuralgia cases, we can go for PBC. Now the factors responsible for success of the procedures. Again, accurate needle placement, shape of the balloon as discussed, pear-shaped balloon, then balloon compression pressure. Well, many of the literatures are still not come to the conclusion that how much pressure is required. Compression time, if you are getting pear-shaped, 90 seconds is enough. There are some literature, they are going up to the 5 to 7 minutes. If patient come after recurrent RF or failed MVD. Then again, successful outcome also depend on trigeminal cardiac reflex and also facial numbness, which is a temporary one. Complication, those are often expected and they are transient. As I said, facial numbness, dysesthesia, difficulty in shaving because of the masseter weakness, herpes simplex reactivation, very in minimal incidence. And coming to the ocular complications, yes, diplopia, loss of corneal reflex, which is very rare. As I said, trigeminal cardiac reflex mechanism, exact cause, still there are different schools, but one says it is caused because of the parasympathetic activation and sympathetic inhibition. Conclusion, procedure of choice for the elderly patient, those who are not willing for MVD, patient comfort is there, risk management is there, definitely it's a technically, of course it's an operational choice, but outcome is very good. If in comparison to RF, well, it's a operator choice, but I am very happy with I have done both the cases, but I am very happy with the balloon. These are few references. Thank you.